So I got my ass chewed by Sergeant Major. What up, SFAM? It's your boy Lynch back again with another motherfucking video. SFAM, stand up, salute, stay focused and motivated. Get motivated up in this jank one time. Today I'm getting ready to tell y'all how Sergeant Major gave me the business, man. But first, before I tell y'all that, make sure y'all hit that comment, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, stay updated every time I upload a video. I'm talking about my platoon sergeant life and things that I go through as a staff sergeant, an E6 in an E7 position. I found out on March 6th that I was going to be the NCOIC of the color guard for our battalion ball that's getting ready to come up. Mind y'all, I've never done a color guard before that I was in charge of. I kind of procrastinated a little bit and I didn't start reaching out to ask anyone if they could give me any guidance on how to do color guard until afterwards. Maybe a week after I found out. So the second week that I knew that I had to be the NCOIC for the color guard, at the end of that second week, I ended up taking leave for 12 or 13 days. My first day back, which was yesterday, I started reaching out and seeing if somebody would be able to give me some guidance on what I need to do. Now, a few days after I found out that I was gonna be the NCOIC, my first sergeant came in and he had the whole team together and he kind of started giving us direction on how we were to start turning in formation while we're doing color guard. From that point, I assumed that first sergeant was going to be the one. Even though I'm the NCOIC, I assumed that first sergeant was going to be the one to teach us everything that we needed to do. But he only got us together that one day. Once I got back from leave, he let me know that Sergeant Major wanted to see a schedule of when we're going to be conducting our practices. So today, I got my schedule together, I got it to Sergeant Major, and then I bumped into Sergeant Major. He said, your schedule said that you started practicing yesterday. Sergeant Major basically thought that I lied on the schedule because he knew that we didn't practice yesterday. And I told him that my intent was to start practicing yesterday, but I ended up canceling it because of different things that we had going on. So then Sergeant Major started asking me, do you have all this equipment? Do you have this? Do you have that? And I told him no, I had no idea where to even start to look to get this stuff from. He said that he wanted to get with me and see, get a face-to-face with the whole team. So I did end up getting some guidance on where to start looking for equipment for, and I went and got my equipment. I went and got the equipment, and then when I got back from getting my equipment, I also got some intel that, I should be coordinating and getting information and getting help from a specific NCO. I don't want to say anybody's name or anything like that or whatever the case may be or what position they're in, but I was told that I was supposed to get with that NCO to get my help, get briefed and all that good stuff, get all my information. I told that NCO, I'm tracking now that I should be talking with you and stuff like that. And I said, will you let Sergeant Major know for me that I have my team ready? He said he was going to let him know. I guess Sergeant Major still hadn't heard anything. That NCO didn't tell Sergeant Major. Sergeant Major then wanted to meet with me as I'm already starting to practice with the team. I go to meet with Sergeant Major again, and that's where it all goes down. I'm in Sergeant Major's office. I'm standing at parade rest. Sergeant Major's asking me all kinds of freaking questions. Why haven't you started your practice? If it was me knowing that a specific person was asking me for something, because I told Sergeant Major, I went through this NCO and asked them to let you know that I have the team ready. He said, I still haven't heard anything. I'm literally wasting energy running around trying to figure out this and that. With it being so close to the ball, we have the ball now in, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks or so. We have our ball in 3 weeks, so Sergeant Major is running around trying to find out if somebody else can take over. He's considering taking the task away from me, but he's digging in, man. He's digging in. He's telling me that I'm failing. I need to start prioritizing, all this crazy stuff. But I find out from Sergeant Major that my company knew about this almost 3 months ago is when my company knew about it. I'm just now finding out a month ago. So I take this ass chewing to heart only because, y'all, I do not like pissing off my leadership. I want to be like my first sergeant and my sergeant major, so for me to upset them really upsets me. I hate not having the answer from my first sergeant or my sergeant major when they ask me things. So when they say, hey Lynch, what's going on with this? And I say, I don't know, sergeant major, or I don't know, first sergeant, I gotta find that out for you. I hate that. I can't stand that. And it just really made my day terrible today, having to sit in front of sergeant major and get yelled at, not only because of my procrastination, but also because of my unit not telling me at the exact time that they knew that we had this thing going on. Mind you, we did have a lot of taskings. We had like a whole field training exercise that we had to do right after they found out about the ball And what I'm thinking happened is my leadership kind of prioritized, and they said, hey, we know about this, but we know about this also. This is coming up closer than the ball. So after we get done with our field training exercise and the stuff that's before the ball, then we will tell Sergeant Lynch that he has to do this color guard. I don't know, maybe that was a situation, maybe not. Maybe they had somebody in mind and then that person couldn't do it, so then they threw me in at the last minute. I don't really know. And I also feel like my unit failed me because they didn't let me know who I need to get with as far as a point of contact. Now, this is something that I realized the last couple of days. I've known in the Army for a long time, I've known that we have what's called implied tasks. So an implied task is, for instance, we give you a general idea of what to do. You know that there are little small things that are included within that. In order for you to complete one mission, you have to do these other little things. I feel like when leadership say, hey, that was an implied task that you didn't complete that, it's really just a way of them to cover their own butt when they didn't give you certain information that they could have given you. They just expect you to know that. I literally didn't know. I had no idea that I was supposed to go through certain NCO, and I was supposed to ask this certain NCO for questions about equipment, how to conduct what I'm doing, and all that good stuff. So I go to a whole other unit to request supplies on what I need to practice. And then when I go talk back to my unit, this NCO that's in my unit, they have all of the supplies that I need right there. I kind of wasted my time going elsewhere to sign out equipment that I didn't even really need to do. But anyway, back to Sergeant Major, he's just giving me the business, man. And like I said, it's a hard pill to swallow when you're standing at parade rest in front of Sergeant Major. You don't have answers to questions. You haven't been utilizing your time that you've been given to complete something. It's just tough, man. It's a tough pill to swallow. Sergeant Major even used this time to get into other things that didn't even have to do with the color guard. We have one soldier who got out of the Army, but they got out of the Army before actually going to each place that they needed to go to, saying that they were good to go and sign out of the Army. So it kind of looks like that soldier's AWOL. But the soldier's not really AWOL, because when that soldier was going through a specific situation, that they were getting separated from the Army. Before they could totally clear, their time had ended in the Army anyway. So that soldier no longer had access to get on and off post. They couldn't use their ID card to go sign out of these certain stations and stuff like that. So they couldn't finish clearing. That soldier I don't know, it kind of seemed like that soldier needed to re-enlist so that they can get out of the Army on time because they were in trouble. It's weird. That soldier absolutely can't go and clear these places. So we have to have somebody else go and clear the places for that soldier. And the crazy thing about that is Sergeant Major's asking me, how did that happen? How do you have a soldier that leaves the Army, but they didn't even freaking clear all the way? Now, my mistake and where I failed this part is because I was told before that this soldier could not access their ID card. They couldn't use their ID card to get back on post and to go and clear the Army. But there's so much stuff that goes on as a platoon sergeant that I totally forgot about it. So when Sergeant Major's asking me a question and I have the answer to the question, I didn't even know that I had the answer to the question. So that just made me feel even worse. And I almost got mad at my NCOs because I forgot that they told me, and it's like they weren't tracking that the soldier had left the Army without clearing, but in turn they were, and they told me, I just forgot. So all in all, my meeting with Sergeant Major did not end that bad. You know, the thing about NCOs, especially when you get higher up in the chain, your first sergeants, sergeant major, stuff like that, master sergeants, whatever, if they yell at you and chew you out, and this is normally how most good NCOs will do, if they yell at you and chew you out, they're gonna be upset in that moment, but 5 minutes later, you turn around and they're fine. And that's how it was with Sergeant Major. When I started explaining to him certain things or whatever the case may be, he initially cooled down a little bit, started understanding what I was talking about. He told me ways that I can fix it, and we just moved on from there. He told me, this is how I know that I'm fine and I'm safe, because he said, don't do it again. Don't let this happen again. So I didn't get fired or anything. He just fussed me out, and it was probably a good 30-minit ass chewing. And then at the end, he said, don't let it happen again. You need to be tracking more. You need to do this. You need to do that. So I'm good. I had a bad day, a rough day. It just is what it is. Sometimes platoon sergeant life happens like that. I hope that I explained everything to y'all in order for y'all to understand. I hope there's no confusion or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. SFAM, stand up, salute, stay focused and motivated. Get motivated up in this jank one time. Just want to tell y'all about my crazy, terrible day that I had. We're gonna keep it moving, man. I love y'all to death. Y'all stay focused and motivated. Comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, stay updated every time I upload a video. Deuces, and I'm out.